Japan's godlike Zero aces roared with contempt at the grotesque American monster Hellcat, then were exterminated in the Marianas cataclysmic aerial holocaust. June 19, 1944. 0500 hours. The vast expanse of the Philippine Sea, 300 miles west of Saipan, where dawn cracks the horizon like a jagged wound. You feel the salt spray whipping across the flight deck of the Japanese carrier Taiho, flagship of Vice Admiral Jisabo Ozawa's mobile fleet. The air hums with the growl of Mitsubishi A6M Zeros warming up, their radial engines spitting blue exhaust flames into the pre-dawn gloom. Pilots in white scarves and leather helmets climb into cockpits, faces etched with the stoic resolve of samurai. Lieutenant Zenji Abe, a veteran ace with kills from Pearl Harbor etched on his fuselage, grips the stick, heart pounding in rhythm with the carrier's massive screws churning the waves below. These men are legends. The Zero, sleek, featherlight at 5,300 pounds, armed with two 20mm cannons and twin machine guns, dances through the air like a predator unbound. No armor weighs it down. Speed and agility are its armor. Abe and his comrades have ruled the Pacific since December 1941, shredding American wildcats in dogfights over Guadalcanal and the Solomons. Ratios of 10-1, sometimes 20-1. They whisper a divine wind, kamikaze spirit, fueling their dives. Ozawa's fleet, 9 carriers for 130 aircraft, steams toward the American invasion force at the Marianas. Operation Eagle launched to crush the Yankee advance once and for all. Below decks, mechanics bow in reverence to the machines. The sea rolls heavy, typhoon remnants stirring whitecaps that crash against hulls. Abe's radio crackles. Banzai for the Emperor. He throttles up, the Zero leaping off the deck into blood-orange sky. Ahead lies Task Force 58, Rear Admiral Mark Mitcher's behemoth with 15 carriers and over 900 planes. But to these aces, the Americans are fools in heavy crates. Yet, as Abe climbs to 20,000 feet, a shadow stirs on the radar scopes far away. Something new, something monstrous, waiting to pounce. November 1943. Flight deck of USS Enterprise, Task Force 50, Gilbert Islands Campaign. The first Grumman F6F Hellcats thunder off the catapult. Their massive Pratt & Whitney are 2,800 engines roaring like enraged beasts. At 12,000 pounds fully loaded, more than twice the weight of the Zero, the Hellcat is a brute. 6.50 caliber machine guns in the wings, heavy armor plate behind the pilot, self-sealing fuel tanks, a cockpit canopy that can take a bullet. To the Japanese pilots who glimpse them from afar, it looks grotesque, a lumbering American monster built for comfort, not combat. Lieutenant Commander David McCampbell, commanding Air Group 15, pushes the throttle forward. The Hellcat surges ahead, climbing at a rate the old Wildcat could only dream of, 3,500 feet per minute. McCampbell has studied the enemy. He knows a Zero can outturn anything in a slow-speed knife fight. So the doctrine is simple: never play their game. Dive from above, strike with overwhelming firepower, extend away, hit and run. The Hellcat is built for exactly that. Raw power, durability, the ability to absorb hits and keep fighting. Early encounters confirm the shift. In the skies over Tarawa and Macon, Hellcats tear into Japanese formations. A Zero tries to loop inside a Hellcat. The American pilot simply rolls away, climbs, and comes back down in a blazing deflection shot. Flames erupt. One Zero spirals into lagoon. Then another. Word filters back to the Japanese carriers. Pilots gather in ready rooms, shaking heads. Too heavy, they say. It will never match our maneuverability. Veterans like Warrant Officer Sadamu Kamichi, who has flown since China in 1937, dismiss reports of growing American successes. The new plane is a desperation measure, nothing more, but the kills mount. By spring 1944, the Hellcats' tally climbs past 1,000. Experienced Japanese pilots begin to vanish. The irreplaceable corps, the men trained before the war, the aces with hundreds of hours in Zeros, are being bled away faster than new recruits can replace them. And now, in June, Ozawa launches his desperate counterstroke. His pilots, many with only months of training, climb into their cockpits believing the old myths still hold. They are about to learn how wrong they are. June 19th, 1944, 0830 hours. Radar screens aboard USS Lexington blaze with incoming blips from massive Japanese raid waves, over 300 aircraft strong, streaking toward Task Force 58. On the bridge of the Lexington, Rear Admiral Mark Mitcher peers through binoculars, voice calm over the TBS. Launch everything. Hellcats vector to intercept. Catapults hiss and slam. Hellcats roar off the decks in waves, climbing hard under full military power. Commander Dave McCampbell leads VF-15 upward, throttle firewalled. The double Wasp engine shaking the airframe with 2,200 horsepower. 60 miles out, Lieutenant Zenji Abe leads the first strike wave. 69 aircraft from Ozawa's carriers, Zeros escorting Judy dive bombers and Kate torpedo planes. Abe feels a familiar surge. The Americans are still launching, he thinks. We'll catch them flat-footed, just like Midway in reverse. But high above, unseen, the Hellcats are already diving. McCampbell spots the enemy formation at 25,000 feet. Perfect altitude advantage. Tally-ho, bandits below. The Hellcats roll over and plummet, blue noses glinting in the sun. Speed builds over 400 knots. Japanese lookouts shout warnings too late. The sky erupts. Tracers arc like golden rain. A Zero disintegrates mid-turn as 6.50 calibers hammer its fragile fuselage. Fuel tanks ignite. No self-sealing means instant fireballs. Abe whips his Zero into a desperate split S, but the Hellcat on his tail refuses to follow into the slow turn. Instead, it zooms past, climbs, and comes screaming back down. One Judy dive bomber folds its wings under concentrated fire and spirals into the sea. Then another. Kate's jettison torpedoes in panic, trying to flee. In minutes, the first wave is shattered. Over 40 Japanese aircraft gone, many before dropping a single bomb. Abe breaks away, heart hammering, watching comrades burn and fall. The American fighters are everywhere, relentless, refusing dogfights, striking like hawks and vanishing upward. Back aboard the Japanese carriers, Ozawa receives the fragmented reports. Pilots claim the new enemy fighter is fast, heavily armed, impossible to shake. But the Admiral presses on. More waves are already airborne. He does not yet know that the slaughter has only begun.
June 19, 1944. Mid-morning. The Philippine Sea boils with chaos as the second and third Japanese raid waves, over 200 aircraft, plunge toward the American fleet. Hellcats swarm like a storm of steel hornets. Commander Charles Brewer, leading VF-16 from USS Lexington, dives through scattered clouds at 450 knots. Gun sight fixed on a formation of Zeros, escorting Val dive bombers. His wingman calls out, "Bogies at 2 o'clock low." Brewer rolls inverted, pulls the nose down and fires a long burst. A Zero snaps in half, wings shearing off as the pilot bails into empty sky. Below, the Japanese pilots fight with desperate fury. Many are young, barely 100 hours in Zero, trained in haste as Japan's pilot pool evaporates. They try the old tactics. Tight turns, climbing spirals, luring the heavy Americans into slow-speed duels. But the Hellcats refuse the invitation. They boom down, fire, zoom upward again. The 6 Browning .50s chew through unarmored fuselages like chainsaws through paper. One burst, a flash, a fireball tumbling end over end. Lieutenant Junior Grade Alex Ratio, already an ace, claims 7 kills in 8 minutes. He spots a Kate torpedo plane lumbering low, drops behind it, and sends it flaming into the waves. Then another, and another. His Hellcats' guns never seemed cool. On the radio, American voices crackle with controlled exhilaration. "Splash 1 Judy. Got a Zero on my 6. Somebody take him." Fox 2, Fox 3, he's burning. The Japanese formation disintegrates. Pilots who survive Guadalcanal and Rabaul watch in horror as rookies die by the dozen. No bombs reach the American carriers. Anti-aircraft fire from the screened ships barely fires a shot. The Hellcats have already done the killing high above. By noon, the scoreboard is apocalyptic. Over 240 Japanese aircraft destroyed, most in air-to-air combat. American losses, 29. The ratio approaches 20-1 in places. Ozawa, aboard the sinking Taiho, torpedoed by USS Albacore earlier, receives the reports in stunned silence. His fourth and final wave is still launching. The slaughter is far from over. June 19, 1944. Late afternoon. The sun hangs low over the Philippine Sea, turning the water into a mirror of fire as Ozawa's fourth and final raid, 128 aircraft scrape from depleted decks, launches into blood-streaked sky. Many pilots are barely trained. Cadets pull from classrooms, given a few dozen hours in outdated trainers before being thrown into Zeros. They climb with mechanical determination, radios filled with forced shouts of "Banzai." But fear crackles beneath the bravado. Veterans like Lieutenant Kene Harada, who flew over Pearl Harbor, grip their sticks tighter than ever. He knows the odds. He has seen the earlier wave vanish. Aboard USS Essex, Commander David McCampbell, already with multiple kills today, leads another combat air patrol skyward. Fuel is low across the task force, but Mitcher's order stands. Destroy the enemy in the air. Hellcats streak westward at 300 knots, radar vectors guiding them unerringly toward the incoming swarm. Contact. The Japanese formation appears ragged, strung out, escorts struggling to maintain cohesion. Hellcats drop from 30,000 feet like meteors. McCampbell picks a Zero climbing desperately, fires a short burst, wings fold. The fighter flips once and plummets. His wingman splashes at Judy seconds later. Below, chaos reigns absolute. Japanese pilots scatter in every direction, some diving for cloud cover, others turning back toward their carriers in blind panic. Few bombs are dropped, few torpedoes armed. The Hellcats hunt methodically, guns hammering in disciplined bursts. Fireballs bloom across the horizon, orange, black, silent at this distance. Harada twists and turns, trying every trick from the old days. A Hellcat overshoots, but another takes his place. Tracers stitch across his wing. Fuel ignites. He pulls the canopy, bails out into empty air, parachute blooming as the Zero spirals down in flames. By dusk, the tally is complete. Over 600 Japanese aircraft destroyed, 373 in air combat alone, against 123 American losses, most from operational causes. 3 carriers sunk or crippled. Ozawa's mobile fleet limps westward, its air groups annihilated. The veterans, the godlike aces who once mocked the grotesque American monster, are gone, scattered across the sea or drifting beneath parachutes into captivity. Japan's naval aviation has been gutted in a single day, but the battle is not yet over. June 20th, 1944. Dusk falls crimson over the Philippine Sea as Rear Admiral Mark Mitcher makes the gamble that seals the battle's legend. From the bridge of USS Lexington, he watches the western horizon swallow the sun. Japanese carriers Zuikaku, Shokaku, Taiho already lost, flee at full speed 300 miles away. Fuel gauges on returning Hellcats flicker near empty. Many pilots will never make it back in the dark, but Mitcher utters the words that echo through history. Launch them, turn on the lights. Floodlights blaze across Task Force 58. Deck lights, searchlights, even star shells burst overhead. Beacons guiding the hunters home. Over 200 Hellcats, Avengers, and Dauntless roar westward into the gathering night, chasing Ozawa's retreating fleet. Lieutenant Commander Robert Winston leads a strike group low over the waves, radar guiding them through cloud banks. At 1900 hours, they spot the enemy. Carriers silhouetted against the dying light, escorts throwing up frantic anti-aircraft fire. Avengers bore in, torpedoes splashing into water. Hellcat strafe decks, igniting parked aircraft in chains of explosions. The carrier Hio erupts in a massive fireball, her magazines detonating as Avengers torpedoes rip her open. She rolls and sinks, taking hundreds with her. Zuikaku and Chiyoda take crippling damage. Zero scramble desperately, but there are too few left. Pilot exhausted, aircraft fuel starved. Back over the task force, the night becomes a desperate ballet of survival. Hellcats ditch in the Black Sea, pilots bobbing in life rafts as destroyers race to rescue them. 80 aircraft are lost to fuel exhaustion or deck crashes in the dark, but the cost to Japan is incalculable. In 2 days, the Imperial Japanese Navy has lost 3 carriers, over 600 aircraft, and nearly all its remaining elite pilots. The Marianas Turkey Shoot, June 19th alone claiming 373 enemy planes, has annihilated the fleet air arm built over decades. No longer can Japan contest the skies. The road to Leyte, Iwo Jima, Okinawa lies open. As the last Hellcat traps aboard in the floodlit chaos, Mitchers stand silent on the bridge. The grotesque monster the Japanese once mocked has become their executioner. Japan's godlike aces are gone. The divine wind has turned against the empire, and in the vast, indifferent Pacific, the tide of war has turned forever.
Subscribe for more World War stories. And hit the like button for motivational. Your one click on subscribe and give me motivation. Thanks.